integration today. Let's talk about three pillars I have discovered really supports us in our integration path. When you've had the epiphany, you've had the insight, you've had the awakening, and then what do you do? What do you do with all the newness of a new dawn, of a new life? Today we're going to talk about the three pillars of integration. My name is Paola Castro. I'm happy to be here with you. This week I've been teaching at Rythmia. It's been a while since I've been there. My beautiful friend Kim Terranova is who's teaching The Answer Is You. And when she needs time off, I have the honor to cover for her. So I am in Rythmia vibes right now. And then our beloved John Jacob said to me, could you cover for me, Walk in the Path? And I said, of course I would cover for you, as I have this new burst of inspiration about the topic of integration. And to honor the name of this Facebook Live, Walk in the Path, I thought it was very relevant for all of you. So hello. Let me see if I can see you in the chat. If you're connecting, I love to see your name. Where are you today? Where are you seeing us from? And hi, Jordan. So good to see you. I had the honor to speak to Jordan the other day. So sweet. And so today we're going to talk about the three pillars of integration. I've been speaking about it for a while now. I was just remembering back in 2016, I wrote a book called Free. And I remember when I showed it to Reverend Michael Beckwith, I said, look, Rev, I wrote a book. And so he looked at it, and then he came into this chapter. I don't know if you see a mirror, called integration. So the book is divided in three parts, and the last part is all about integration. So I've been thinking about this quality of and this discipline. I think it's a discipline, and I love how the word discipline stems from the word disciple. When you become dedicated, a dedicated, disciplined disciple to this truth that is your truth. Because how amazing it is to have an awakening moment, have an insightful moment, how to have a has just dropping, you downloading one after one. That's amazing, but it's heartbreaking when 1 month goes by, 2 months goes by, a year goes by, you have it in your consciousness, but you haven't done anything about it. Or you do a little bit about it, but then you digress, you take steps back. And it's not fair. I don't think it's fair, because if you're on this path, having the courage to show up, to receive these kinds of insights, it's a big work. It's this week, as I was teaching at Rythmia, The Answer Is You, I could get teary-eyed just looking at these beautiful, courageous souls saying yes to the medicine. Like, I don't know if you're watching, if you've done it, or if you're thinking about doing it. It's a big yes. It's worthwhile, but it's a big yes, because doing healing takes a lot of courage. And I love to remind us that the word courage comes from core, heart. So it requires a lot of heart. It requires a lot of, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this work of healing. And whether it's with a medicine or any other modality, is a big yes. And if you're watching this and if this is resonating, I know you are that kind of person. Now, it's heartbreaking for me when I speak with some of you and they say, Paola, I don't know what's going on with me. Like, I feel like I know it, but I don't know how to do it. I sabotage myself. How do I integrate all of this? And not only that, I'm home and I'm seeing life differently, and my friends don't feel the same way that I used to feel to hang out with them, or my family is very triggering. When I go to work, I don't think I want to be working there anymore. And there's all of these changes, and there is a feeling tone sometimes that you're kind of like up in the air, like you don't know where you belong anymore because you've changed so much. So what are the three pillars of integration? And so I've been massaging this concept for a while now, and it's just so feels so good and so right to share it. So the three pillars of integration, what are they? Well, the first one is the learning, the act of learning, of developing self awareness through studying, through listening to other teachers, to doing this kind of work. When you go to YouTube, when you come to the Rythmia page or another teacher's page and you're listening to something, you're like, oh, wow. And if you're like me, you're taking notes and it feels so good because you are like, this resonates. So you're learning. You learn about yourself. You do self inquiry. You go inside and you ask yourself questions, big questions. Interesting. How come I respond to my life this way? And then you find someone talking about inner child work. And then you understand that when we're children, we develop these coping mechanisms. And now you know that there's something called a coping mechanism, that we can rewire our brain to respond different to triggers. So this is the realm of learning. And I can tell you a secret right now. That's my favorite realm. That for me, I get a high from learning from great teachers. Like when I hear Reverend Michael Beckwith speaking and channeling spirit in such a masterful way. It's like, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. And I take notes. That's amazing. So that's the first realm. Some people don't like to be students. And when they go outside of themselves to they go to the outer world to try to understand the world or their inner world, there might be a sense of feeling lost or lack of self-awareness. And people in their own ignorance think, well, this is the way I am, but because they haven't given the opportunity, they haven't given themselves the permission to learn, to be a little bit more curious. So learning is very important. This could be the pillar that you need to integrate into your life. Just being a little bit more diligent in your studying. You are the way you are. You do the things you do. You dream the dreams you dream. There's a reason behind it, and there's ancient wisdom that you can access to. And I mean, the internet. Back in the day, people will complain because there wasn't enough information around. People have to go to the library to kind of try to investigate what something meant. But in this time and age, we have access to so much on the internet, and we have to use our discernment. Not everything will resonate with us, but you know when it resonates, when it just makes your heart vibrate so in such a beautiful way that when you get the knowledge, you feel empowered. Knowledge is power. So it's that very masculine energy. It's represented by the sun. Kind of brings light to you when you're learning. So that's the first pillar of integration. So I invite you to learn, to study, be curious. Beautiful. I'm gonna pause for a moment. We're still two pillars to go, but I want to see the chat here. So Star is in Florida. Hi, Star. Jen from Portland, Oregon. Hi, Jen. Francis. Hi. Isaac, El Paso, Texas. Hi. Hi, Robin from Florida. Beautiful. Okay. All right. So if you're tuning in right now, I would love to see your name in the chat. Amazing. Okay. So let's carry on. Hi, Gwen. Oh, yeah. I love seeing your name here, Gwen. Can't wait to see you again one day here in Costa Rica or somewhere in the world. So let's carry on. So I'm talking about the three pillars of integration, something that I've been thinking about lately, just putting a lot of attention, a lot of my time on it. And I want to share with you today in the rest of the 10 minutes that we have together. So the second pillar of integration that is very important is to take action. And I know this is any, oh, I can say this is not something new for you. You know that taking action is important. But learning and doing, that's where the real wisdom comes through. That's when you really get to experience what you're learning. And I know it might sound like common sense, but I like to say common sense is the least common of the senses. And especially when we are stuck in a loop of victimization. They are doing this and they said, and I feel hurt, and your energy goes into that survival mode. I understand it's very hard sometimes to even get out of bed. I get that it's hard to take time to meditate, and because the brain goes into the space of fight or flight or freeze or fawn, and the last thing it wants to do is to show up. But I got good news for you, and this is in the realm of learning. You have something that is called dominion over your attention. You have dominion, but this dominion doesn't come from your brain, just the organ, the brain. It comes from your spiritual self, from your highest self. You have spiritual dominion. So yes, I understand there are some days that are so hard to get out of bed, so hard to show up for yourself, so hard to go to the gym, so hard to do the meditation, so hard to take the book that you know is going to lift you up and within minutes. And you can still choose. You might say that day, you know what, I don't feel like it. I'm just going to do it for 5 minutes. I'm just going to do it for 5 minutes, and that's all I'm going to do today. I'm just going to show up for myself for 5 minutes. What happens most of the time is that 5 minutes turns into 20 minutes or into 10 or to 15, and then you start showing up for yourself, which is also incredibly beneficial for your self-esteem, for your confidence. So the other pillar of integration is you got to do the work. Nobody will do it for you. I think it was this woman, what's her name? Her last name is Robbins, Mel Robbins, the 5-second rule. She said many of us, when we were children, our caregivers will come and say, hey, you have to brush your teeth. Hey, you have to shower. Go shower before you eat. We had this caregiver. It could be your parents or a grandparent or someone in your life that was kind of like asking you to do things, or sometimes even forcing you to do things. As we grow up, there's almost a feeling in some of us that someone is going to come tell us what to do. And the thing is that when it comes to change, when it comes to transformation, only you can do it. First of all, nobody's coming to force you to do it. And if someone tries to force you to do it, you'll rebel against it. Change is such an intimate thing. It's a choice that is so intimate to you, is so personal that nobody can do it for you. So the second realm of integration, you gotta do what you're learning, what resonates. You might want to take baby steps. Some of you are a little bit more like me. Sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna change everything. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Depends on where I am in my consciousness. Whether it's baby steps or you take big leaps, doing the work is so important to integrate. And it's not about going to another seminar or trying to get something to give you like a temporary high. Is the little work every day, showing up to a family gathering and taking deep breaths so that you can stay grounded, that you can keep agreements with yourself that are healthy, so that you remain compassionate. That's the work. It's when you are at work and you don't like your boss. And you take a moment to take a deep breath. You take a moment to talk to someone and voice what you're feeling. And perhaps you have the courage to start saying, I'm ready to leave that work. And eventually when you're ready, you leave it for a new adventure, for a new opportunity. You see what I'm saying? It's so important to show up. All right, let's look at the chat for a second. Um, First pillar of integration, learn. Yeah. Second, thank you, Nicole. Thank you so much for taking notes. Yes, those are the pillars. In a moment, I'm going to give you the third one. And this is probably the one that I have been integrating more into my integration. I don't know if that's that's redundant, but this one is probably the hardest one for the ego. But before that, uh, okay, as hers, you're so welcome. Um, no puedo salir de esta. Okay, so Mariel is speaking Spanish. Let me see. Let me see. My brain can translate it. I can because I speak Spanish. Mm-hmm. Okay, Mariel is talking about not being able to let go of memories of the past. So, Mariel, I don't know your situation fully, and I'm sorry you're going through that. I'm sorry. It's hard. And when you're ready, when you are ready, forgiveness will bring you a lot of freedom. There is a beautiful book called Radical Forgiveness. The author's last name is Tippin. I can't remember his first name. Radical Forgiveness. If that resonates with you, I invite you to read it. And you might not be able to forgive them for them, but at first, in the process of forgiveness, we forgive them because we deserve to be free. Not because they deserve it, because we deserve to be free. And then as you go deeper into forgiveness, you go into radical forgiveness. I'm not going to give you, I'm not going to spoil the book, but anybody dealing with being stuck in the past, it's usually because you are attached to what happened and what's not here anymore, and this resentment. Now, I'm making a lot of assumptions for you, Mariel. So I hope this resonates. Andre. Oh, wait, Francis. I've learned that before. However, I built in forgetters. Take action even if I need to take baby steps. Yes, Francis. Actions. 5 minutes. Just tell your brain. It's like we're cheating our brain. We say to our brain, I just promise you. Just 5 minutes. It's not going to be more than that. Just 5 minutes. And then once you're in it, it usually turns into more than 5 minutes. If it's only 5 minutes that day, that's enough. Andre, why we can feel lazy for doing the work such as breathwork, self-care type of work? That's a great question, Andre. It could be worthiness. I've had this conversation with many of my clients, and they say, even though I know I have to do this work, I don't do it. And it's usually because of I don't feel worthy of giving that to myself. I don't think I deserve it. So I would look into that, into worthiness. I would look into what is it that you're feeling in that moment, and what, because laziness, it's a sign of overwhelm. So this is the thing, when we grew up, when I grew up, I thought that laziness was just meant that I didn't want to do anything because I was lazy. It meant that my nervous system was overwhelmed. So you go into a space of freeze. There's so much emotional overwhelm, or literally overwhelmed, a lot of things to do. It could be emotional because a lot of emotional things are happening, or you have your agenda so busy that you go into freeze mode, like, and then you don't do anything because that's the way that you cope with the overwhelm. So pay attention how you feel in that moment and what's going on in you. That's why the first pillar is so important. You need to learn. You need to know thyself. That's what the great philosophers would say. Know thyself. And that's the greatest privilege of a lifetime. So instead of just judging ourselves, oh, I'm just so lazy, that something's wrong with me, which damages a lot our self-esteem, go into a space of curiosity. Interesting. Well, I remember Paola said, I just learned. I must be overwhelmed somehow. So, well, what's going on in my life? It's a lot broader than just saying to ourselves, oh, I'm just lazy. All right. Yes, that happens. That happens. It's emotional overwhelm. Hi, Abby. Beautiful Abby. Abby's a beautiful um, coach, spiritual coach. Beautiful videos you're making lately. I'm so proud of you. Jordan, this is how I'm taking a moment of my self care right now. Now, okay, thank you. This is how I am taking a moment, and my self care right now is watching this. Beautiful. Thank you, Jordan. Marielle, you're welcome. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Peace teachings. Peace teachings is how I go by. Okay, so many comments. Let me tell you, because I still have one pillar to tell you. So the first one was learning. The second one was doing. And the third one is listening. Listening is in between knowing and doing, right in the middle. Listening. And when I say listening, it's not listening to the chatter of your mind. It's about learning how to listen to your heart. Now, why did I say pillar number 1 is learning, pillar number 2 is doing, and pillar number 3 is listening? Because some people will say to me, without knowing things, without learning the concepts of how the brain works and how the psychology of the human being is, you would sit and they'll get very frustrated about listening. That sounds easier said than done. You don't understand my brain. It doesn't shut up. I get so tense, I get itchy, I fall asleep. So that's why we need to learn, start practicing, and then slowly start integrating the listening part. Now, when I say listening, I'm not talking about even guided meditations, even though sometimes they're very helpful, or most of the time. I'm saying you sitting with yourself in silence, or you going in nature in silence, no music, no guidance. You with you, with you, with you. I know that for me, sometimes there's so much resistance. Now, I have learned through the years that even though the resistance is there, like I just said it to Francis, just 5 minutes, Paola. I need to feel me. I need to be with me. I don't need another video. I don't need another book. I don't need to call anybody. I don't need to do anything. I need to listen now. Now, this is an art. It's an art that it cannot be taught in a minute. But I know you can do it because this art lives in you. You know it. And why do we want to listen? Because we develop a lot of discernment here. There's a lot of noise out there. I mean, you go in online and there's millions of people. Luckily, so good that there's so many people talking about these kinds of things. And at the end of the day, you gotta discern for yourself what's for you. It's beautiful to get advice. It's beautiful. Sometimes getting too much advice makes you feel even more confused. When you're with yourself, when you're in silence, you can listen. Someone said prayer is when you talk to God. Meditation is when you listen to God. Now, when I say the word God, I'm not talking about a man in the sky. I'm talking about the presence of love, the presence of the intelligent mind of the universe. So you might call it something else, but you listen. And you might sit for a little bit and listen and nothing. The more you show up, slowly you go, oh, I haven't thought about this. And when we're listening to our hearts, the heart is the greatest integrator. In yoga, they talk about the 7 chakras. So we have the first 3 chakras, the base one, the navel, the solar plexus. And then we have the throat, the third eye, and the crown chakra. So 3 and 3. And right at the middle, connecting heaven and earth, we have the heart. So the greatest integrator is your heart. But if you're too busy doing or getting into seductive, how do you say that? Seductive, oh, it escaped the word to me. Getting in seductive distractions. I heard that concept yesterday. I love it so much. If you're getting distracted with drama, with more and more learning, especially people like us, like me, I can cope by just learning a lot, but not really dropping it down to my heart. The most amazing journey you'll ever walk is the journey from your head to your heart. But it requires a lot of diligence, discipline, and let me pick on my and understanding. Diligence, discipline, and understanding. So those are my 3 pillars of integration. I think I might write a book about this. I'm saying it out loud to the universe. I don't know when, but I'm so convinced that this is probably the most important thing to do as we're having massive awakening around the world. My God, there's so many people waking up. When I say waking up is when we're piercing through the veil of forgetfulness and seeing, oh, look at this. I could keep talking all day long, but I want to say goodbye to you. So let me check the comments here for a moment. Monica, hi Mo, I love you too. Monica's my great friend from high school. We've been friends for so many years. I love that you're here. Okay. You felt it was easy with the group. So Andre, and another thing I want to tell you, find community. Set the intention out there, and I don't know if you have community, but community is very important in the process of integrating too. I would say this is the realm of it's all of them. It's one of the practices. You're learning from other people. You are being accountable, being held accountable by others. So find community. Yeah. And that will really help you, because it's true, when we're with like-minded individuals, we show up even more stronger. Hi from New Zealand. Hi, Karen. Okay, that's cool, New Zealand. I'd love to go there one day. Would you recommend to have this experience or rythmia alone, or best to have another familiar attend with you? It's up to you, Vanessa. I would say if you are someone that will worry about a lot, like I know I'm not ready to do this with my husband. I'd rather he does it on his own if he wants and do it on my own. Because I will be like, is he okay? Is he okay? Like I have that something to grow out of it for sure. It's my growing edge. So if you don't want to have that in your mind, go by yourself. But if you don't, and you think doing it with a family member, with a friend, is also very profound. I see yesterday I was talking with his mother doing it with her daughter, and I was like, oh my God, I'd love to do this with my mom. I don't think she'll ever do that. She's more conservative. Okay. Oh, thank you, Jose. Thank you so much. Seductive distractions, I know. They're so seductive. And seductive destruction, yes, that's right, Robin. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Diligence, discipline, and understanding. Thank you, Nicole. I love how you put it all together in the comments. That's it. Yeah. Please say again, greatest walk from. Okay. The greatest journey you will ever take is the journey from your head to your heart. It's a short distance, but it's one of the most profound ones. And sometimes it's simple, very challenging sometimes for our minds that don't want to let go of control. But we can do it. We can do it. Oh, you're so welcome, Andre. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm glad that this is resonating. Yeah, I can feel it in my heart when I speak about like, yes, yes, yes. All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Robin. Thank you guys. I love being here. Let's see when John Jacob invites me again. But have a beautiful rest of your evening or your afternoon, depending on where you are. And I will see you another time. I'll see you Saturday. I'll be doing for Kim. I got my miracles, so we'll see. We'll see who got their miracles. So Saturday. I have to check the time. Okay, I have it here. So if you want to get online on Saturday, it's called. I think it's at 2 o'clock. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But Saturday around 1 or 2, I'll be online um, interviewing someone that had a great experience at Rhythmia. All right, goodbye now.